Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
We are a nation in decline.
Experts are preparing for what is known as Disease X, or the next pandemic.
What we are seeing is a revolution against the system.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Rise and Grind with Vince. I think I messed my titles up. Good God. Oh, today's January 17th, 2024. This is a show where we talk about the news and events of the day every day, Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Thank you all for joining me this morning. It is a beautiful day. We're going to get right into things and just go over what's going on to start off our days. And then we're all busy, so we'll carry on forward after that. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining and liking and doing all those things. I appreciate that very much. The weather's been absolutely crazy across the country and even other countries, so I hope y'all are doing all right on that front. 30 in Alabama. Yeah, jeez. Record-breaking cold in a lot of places. Let's jump right into things, why don't we? Let's first start with looking at some Davos developments that we've seen yesterday and this morning. We've got Argentina's Milei there attending the meeting with the globalists. People are saying, oh my God, why is he going? What the heck? We had faith. We thought he was a good guy. Well, I don't think there's really, sorry to say, I don't think there's really any good guys in this situation. I think they're all globalists, man. I really do. Although Milei does stand up against socialism and against wokeism and all that stuff, I think that he still has his globalist intentions for whatever he thinks the future should look like. And that's why he's there. He says he's there for other reasons, for reasons similar to that, like to expose the corruption and to stand up for freedom and all this. Anyway, on Insider Paper, they reported that Argentina's libertarian new president, Javier Milei, slammed the threat to the West posed by socialism at the meeting of global political and business elites in Davos on Wednesday. In his maiden trip abroad as president, the self-styled anarcho-capitalist took shots at social justice and radical feminism while praising entrepreneurs as heroes at the World Economic Forum's meeting in the Swiss Alps. I am here today to tell you that the West is in danger, Milei said, touting free market capitalism as the only viable solution for poverty. It is a danger because those who are supposed to defend the values of the West are co-opted by a vision of the world that inexorably leads to socialism and thereby to poverty, he said. The 53-year-old Argentine leader, oh shoot, is Rumble? No, Rumble appears to be up for me. Rumble's okay. Just go ahead and refresh. It should be all right. He says that, it says here, the 53-year-old Argentine leader who flew to Switzerland on a commercial plane as part of his austerity image said during his flight that the forum was contaminated by the socialist agenda. But Milei, who has drawn comparisons to former U.S. President Donald Trump, was full of praise for entrepreneurs during his speech. During his rock star-like leather jacket for a suit and tie, Milei hailed business leaders as heroes who should not be afraid of the political caste and the parasite that live off the state. Parasites. The state is not the solution. The state is the problem, he said. You are the true protagonist in this story. You should know that from now on, you can count on Argentina as an unconditional ally, Milei added, ending his speech with his battle cry, "Long live freedom, damn it." Some in the audience gathered to shake his hand and take pictures as he left the Congress Hall. Pretty interesting stuff there. We're just going to sit back and watch because, you know, I'm a little wary, but it all sounds great, right? That sounds fantastic, but yeah, you know, I'm just cautious with all these people. Good morning, Quiet Toad. Good morning, everybody else. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you've got your coffee or your tea or whatever your favorite beverage is. Hopefully it's not soda or something, y'all. We gotta cut out those sugar, that sugar. All right. Anyway. Yeah, he totally trashes socialism there. He's there. He's trying to do good things, apparently, it seems. Here's a little clip of him at the World Economic Forum. One moment. And it is translated for us.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Hoy estoy acá
Today, I'm here
para decirles que Occidente
to tell you that the Western world is in danger.
está en peligro porque
And it
aquellos que
is
supuestamente deben
endangered
defender
because
los valores
those who
de
are
Occidente
supposed to have to defend the values of the West are co-opted by a vision of the world that inexorably leads to socialism and thereby to poverty.
Yep, as we just discussed. And he's not wrong. It's good. He's right. It's interesting that he's allowed to be there and speak on this. But we've seen Trump go to these events and different people, so they're all just players at this table, I suppose. And I do think it has an impact on the future, which is the whole purpose of these meetings, by the way. It says here, there's anger. This is Zero Hedge. They write, anger in Davos after Iran FM and CNN's Zakaria take the spotlight on the main stage. It says, speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Iranian Foreign Minister Hussein Amir Abdullahian has warned that we are witnessing an expansion of the conflict in the Middle East. Many Western leaders and officials are not happy that the Iranian top diplomat was given prominence on the main stage at Davos Wednesday, which included an interview with CNN's Fareed Zakaria. During that discussion, Abdullahian boasted that Iran's ballistic missile attack on northern Iraq on Monday targeted elements and agents of Mossad in Erbil. There are reports that a building used as a Mossad headquarters in that region was blown up by the short-range ballistic missile strike. The below image has circulated widely on social media, purporting to show destroyed alleged Israeli intelligence center. I'll show you that image mentioned just here. Onward. As for the Iranian foreign minister's presence on the Davos stage, it reportedly drew a huge media presence, and Politico captured some of the shock and anger among attendees in the blog entry called "Iran Comes to Town." They had some interesting things to say. I think I do have a clip here. Maybe not. But I believe Iran warned about socialism as well. Let's see if they say it in this article. Nope. Warning. No. But they go on. Abdullahian was asked about the attack and responded to Zakaria, quote, "We have good relations with both Pakistan and Iraq, and we have security pacts with both fighting terrorism and securing our common borders. We targeted the Mossad headquarters in Erbil with missiles, not Iraq." However, he also stressed, quote, "We don't tolerate terrorist presence in Pakistan and the Zionist presence in Erbil. We consider the security of Iraq and Pakistan as part of Iran's security." he claimed that Iran didn't target Pakistani nationals, despite Pakistan reporting that 2 children were killed as a result of the missile strikes. Throughout the interview with Zakaria, the Iranian FM charged Israel with genocide and also blamed the West, including the United States, for enabling the mass killing of Palestinians. And then you have France came forward and they said, this accusation of genocide is out of line. It's ridiculous. This killing is justified, I guess, is kind of what they're saying. Hold, got a issue here. I apologize, folks. Bear with. I apologize for that. I'm back. All right. Yeah, it's hard to justify any type of violence, but it's just a highly heated topic and part of this global war that we're seeing right now. I don't know if I cut out, but I mentioned that France is saying that these accusations of genocide are ridiculous. And here's another clip from the World Economic Forum. Pretty interesting. They're now openly talking about the New World Order at the World Economic Forum meeting. Just a casual conversation about dominating the world and changing it. It's pretty interesting. Let's watch.
That order seems to not be the order anymore. We are on the way to a new order, so we are between orders. Do you agree with that, or are there ways of what are we able to keep on the positive side from the old order to bring into a new world order, and how can we avoid that new world order becomes like a jungle growing back, and we rather have order based on international law and the principles that have brought us prosperity and freedom for decades?
I guess, and maybe this is the old kind of teacher in me coming out. I think of this a little bit more about a transition of eras rather than a transition of orders, but the two are kind of cousins of one another. The reason I draw the distinction is because I don't think the international order built after 1945 is getting replaced wholesale with some new order. It will obviously evolve as it has evolved multiple times over the decades since 1945. But I do think in a more sharp and distinctive way, we are moving into a new era, and that's what I talked about in my remarks, that we are, the post-Cold War era has come to a close. We're at the start of something new. We have the capacity to shape what that looks like, and at the heart of it will be many of the core principles and core institutions of the existing order, adapted for the challenges that we face today.
Essentially, the New World Order is already here. They're just refining it, and he's like, don't say New World Order. It's just a new era, man. It's just a new era. It's not a New World Order. Stop saying that. That's kind of how I feel that went, but maybe I'm misinterpreting it. I don't know. Alrighty then. Let's take a quick look at the markets. Very red. Red. That's what I see here. The S&P 500 is down 0.48%. NASDAQ down 0.8%. Gold approaching 2,000. That's not good. It was well above 2,000 for weeks. It's $2,012.20 right now. Silver, $22.75. Ooh. And Bitcoin, 42,297. Let's take a look at the Boeing stock, this BA. They're up today. Wow, remarkable. $203.51. After, a month ago, they were almost at 200, and they were at 264, 261. So they've lost a lot of value over this January. Just massive losses this January. Yikes. Let's take a quick look at Tesla, just out of curiosity. Tesla, damn it. Down 2.52%. $214.42 right now. also taking a beating since December. Just constant red days for Tesla. Horrible. Sorry to everybody out there who has their Tesla and Boeing in their portfolios. Today's going to hurt. But hopefully you're diversified. Anywho, on a brighter note, I mean, those stocks are on sale. So if you've got some liquid cash and you're looking to buy, you've got a discounted price, I guess. I guess there's a silver lining to everything. All right. Well, onward. JP Morgan Chase is now seeing hackers attempt to infiltrate its systems 45 billion times a day, Bloomberg reported. Just, I guess, the prelude to the inevitable hack of the financial system is underway, and the evidence being put out there. We warned you guys that the system was vulnerable, but don't worry, we have a solution. Just come here, sign here. We've got the solution. So I could say, I could assume we're going to see eventually a breakthrough with these hackers and the financial system being targeted. Hopefully it's not too crazy, and that that's one of the reasons why we sort of prepare. I mean, if you can't, you need to be able to get by without cash for a little bit, and the longer the better, I would say. But the system is fragile and it's constantly under attack. And whether that's really hackers or it's really false flags or it's really just something malicious other than hacking or whatever, it's all going to result in the same thing. Canadian Prepper made an interesting post, and I think it's a good point as far as when it comes to discerning the prices of things. And I wanted to share that with y'all here. Let's take a quick look at what he's saying, because I think he's absolutely right. He says, when the war in the Middle East goes parabolic, there's one scenario where oil prices may appear low, but are actually increasing. In any global crisis, people flock to the US dollar. Yes, even today they will, i.e., cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry basket. That's a metaphor. I don't know if I should explain this, but basically, it's the best worst solution out there, so they're going to do it. He says that demand for dollars will elevate the value of the dollar relative to other currencies. That means $1 will buy you more. This doesn't negate the debt and inflation. It's just a temporary perk of being the global reserve currency. The price of oil will skyrocket. However, the stronger dollar, the petrodollar, will offset and mask the real price increase. The price of oil will still rise in nominal terms, but will be much more expensive in real terms. If the dollar is rising and oil stays the same, oil is also rising. See? If the dollar is rising and oil stays the same, oil is also rising. And when the U.S. loses reserve status as a result of the war, then the nominal price will be revealed as the petrodollar plummets, and that will be the proverbial collapse. Shit hitting the fan. Ooh, a little doom and gloom there from Canadian Prepper today, and that's okay. I don't think he likes that title, but it's the truth of what could happen here, and an interesting perspective. Things aren't always what they seem, and especially with finance, things are so dynamic. I think it's important to note that it's not black and white. It's not easy just to say some blanket statements and have it all understood. There's a lot of factors. So just an interesting thing there. I like that. If the dollar is rising and oil stays the same, oil's also rising. It's crazy. Interesting to think about there. I hope you guys like that. You can follow Canadian Prepper. He has a good channel too. And I especially like his prepping content and his reviews and things like this of equipment and products. It's nice, I will say. He does a great job. Anyway, Goldman. This article here says that Goldman was dumping billions in stocks and other assets, meanwhile telling clients to buy. Horrible. Zero Hedge reported. After getting his 2023 forecast catastrophically wrong in November 2022, when he predicted the S&P would close 2023 at only 4,000, or effectively unchanged for the year, Goldman's chief equity strategist David Kostin scrambled to overcompensate in his next annual preview, first writing in his 2024 equity outlook note published in mid-November that he now expected the S&P to close at 4,700. Only to change his mind exactly 1 month later, in the middle of the biggest year-end melt-up in decades, he revised his 2024 price target upward again, this time to 5,100. While it would be easy and correct to be cynical and observe that all Kostin was doing was chasing both market price and the herd of the other sell-side analysts, all of whom were suddenly out bullying each other like a waddle of penguins on meth, it is irrelevant what prompted Kostin to push the afterburners on his bullish take. Instead, what sparked our interest is what Goldman itself was doing during the time the bank was telling its clients to buy. Everybody buy, it's going to be great, woohoo. And meanwhile, they're offloading all of it. It's just, you can't make this stuff up. So shiesty. All right. Javier Milei is standing by closing Argentina's central bank per Bloomberg. An interesting promise from Javier Milei. He's standing by it. Milei stated that the 86-year-old institution will be shut down sooner or later when asked about his plan to dollarize the economy, which I think Javier Milei, last I read, he wanted to move towards the US dollar, which is interesting. So getting on that bandwagon with the West. Trump. And maybe that's just a temporary move by Javier. I don't know. I mean, the dollar could really go bye-bye, especially you look at the BRICS nations. They constitute the majority of the world at this point, and a lot of them are boasting these gold-backed currencies, like Russia, for example, who have made steps in the direction of backing their currency with gold, like we once had, but now our currency is backed by oil, and people are ditching the dollar. But maybe the crisis will come, people will flock to the dollar, and then it's something that'll all develop, and maybe that's the collapse, like Canadian Prepper had said. It's a potential, and it's scary to think about, which is I remember too, I'll say this, when people were when Russia was going out there and making changes and utilizing gold to do so with their economy and their currency, people are like, how do I buy rubles? How do I buy Russian currency? And here's the thing, you don't have to buy Russian currency. You could invest in things like gold and silver. A lot of people say silver is a better investment because of the return being much more than gold. But if you invest in gold, you're kind of in a roundabout way investing in currencies backed by gold, or even superseding the currency altogether, which is great. Just putting that out there. Not financial advice, just something I think is true. Trump teases future role for Ramaswamy at New Hampshire rally. Let's see what Trump said. I mean, was this the plan the whole time? Do you guys think this was the plan the whole time? I think that's maybe a potential thing here. Let's hear what Trump had to say.
Next Trump economic boom will begin on November 5th, 2024. That will be an economic boom. And you know, the only thing that they have now is a stock market that's going up, and it's only going up because people think we're going to win the election. I don't know if you saw yesterday, I felt very badly for them. China had a crash yesterday in their stock market. You know why? Because I won Iowa. So when people, it's true, it crashed.
So sorry, the wrong video, but I have the other one here. But Trump is right. China's stock market did crash right after he won Iowa. And maybe he's right on that. That's really something, isn't it? And he said it's really going to crash later. Anyway. Trump teases future role for Ramaswamy at New Hampshire rally. He'll be working for us for a long time. I don't have a video clip of that. But it seems like Ramaswamy is going to attend Trump's next rally. That's Vivek. I think we could expect, here it is. We can expect Ramaswamy to continue what he's always been doing, and that's really being in the spotlight, saying a lot of the right things and demonstrating this fairness in public, kind of uniting people and having constructive conversations. And that's great. I'm skeptical. I think I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm just so deceived over and over again. I'm like, I just don't trust any of these people, right? But I hope good things come out of this, and that Trump has it all under control. But what do you guys think? Shall we watch this little clip from Fox News? Some call it faux news. That's not very nice.
And I think that you guys may have seen some of the rally that we had, and the response was overwhelming. And I think it's very clear who the Republican primary electorate is saying that they want to be their nominee. I ran to be that person. They sent me a very positive message, but the very positive message they sent to all of us is that Donald Trump needs to be the nominee of this party. And I think Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley would actually at this point do this country and this party a service by stepping aside to make sure that we're focused on not only nominating Donald Trump, but getting this country back and reviving those founding revolutionary ideals. And I think we do live in that 1776 moment right now. We need to win.
You're calling on Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis to drop out right now.
I am. And I do think that would be healthy for this country. And I think that, you know what, especially Ron DeSantis, at least of the two of them, will have an important role to play in the future of this country and leading this nation. I do believe that. But I think that the right thing to do right now is the people of this country through the Iowa caucus. It's the most grassroots process I've seen. I personally did over 390 events, built great relationships and goodwill, but the message they sent was clear. I think it's time to actually make sure we elect the right president, put America first, take the America First agenda to the next level. And you know what? America First, it's not even about Trump. It didn't start in 2016.
That's right.
It started in 1776.
You're right.
And so Donald Trump will be the right person to take this forward for the next 4 years. But we need to start laying down the foundation for this to live another 250 years.
All right.
And then some. And I do think that this is the right next step for us to take, which is why I proudly endorsed Donald Trump last night.
Army Rangers, yes, he is, but I don't want this dude as VP. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that either. If you guys go over to, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm running a poll. Do you like Vivek? So if you would go vote on there, I want to see just the general consensus. I think that he says great things. He seems to be great. I think that it seems maybe it's just the political game that he's playing. I think the whole time what the plan was, he knew he didn't stand a chance against Trump, just like Haley, just like DeSantis, but I think they're just real clowns. He's less of a clown than that, but still, it's just weird, to say the least. Maybe that was the plan the whole time, and just kind of take that. I don't know. It's weird. It's definitely weird and hard to know. I mean, who really knows? Except maybe Trump and Vivek. Who knows? But onward. Quiet Toad said, well, first of all, coffee, never enough. That's very true, huh? And then Quiet Toad says, I think he's too slick. He's too slick. Yeah, that's a good point, right? It's one of those things, like, if it's too good to be true, you might want to be careful. And he does seem like utterly perfect with everything he does and says, and fantastic with social media and getting himself out there. And his way with words is very reminiscent of somebody like Obama, who's just like a trained linguist, pretty much. CNN cancels New Hampshire debate. Will hold a town hall with Nikki Haley on Thursday. CNN has dropped plans to hold a New Hampshire Republican debate on Sunday after former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley said that she would only participate in the event if President Trump did. That left Florida Governor Ron DeSantis as the only candidate who had committed to participate. Wah, wah. That's so funny. These losers can't even have a damn debate. There's no debate. There's no debate to be had. Oh, so silly. So just an update there. Jamie Dimon just went on CNBC and said people are voting for Trump because he was right about the economy, immigration, and China. Trump was right. Everyone says it that cares to even look at the facts of the matter over the years. And it's good that they have that airing on the what people call the legacy fake news media. Trump is doing a little bit of trolling, as he calls it. We call it trolling. He mocks Nikki Haley by photoshopping her onto Hillary Clinton and posting it on Truth Social. Pretty funny and just hideous. So there you go. Trump's trolling this morning. Haley on Clinton. That's so funny. He's just gonna destroy her. Oh, I'm just laughing because I'm remembering him debating Hillary because you'd be in jail, right? The famous comment to Hillary from Trump. Let's go to Truth Social real quick and see if Trump has said anything else. He posted that 11 hours ago, and he's been quiet on Truth since, but we'll stand by, and I'm sure he'll be posting things often over there. So let's see. I want to take a look. Let's see. Flynn. Let's hear what Flynn has to say. General Flynn came out. He says, what the hell is our U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan talking about? Is the World Economic Forum now some newly appointed global governance body? Leaders at all levels of the United States government must wake up to the fact that we face a real threat, and it is emanating from the membership of the World Economic Forum. We, Americans, vote for those we expect to make decisions about our lives, not some wealthy globalist who thinks he, she, it thinks they know what's best for me and my family. He tagged Lara Logan, Elon Musk, Ben Carson, and Tucker Carlson. And he is responding to the clip we watched earlier of the discussion of the New World Order at the Economic Forum. And he's right. They want to supersede government. That's kind of like the clear plan here. They think, oh, yeah, we talked about it yesterday. They talk about these global issues transcend borders. We're talking about viruses and famine and economy and this and that. And because of that, the government's not enough. We need a government over governments that supersedes it in order to take care of people. That's not how it works. People are above that. So they're really trying to skirt the system here. And General Flynn knows it. And I think it's interesting. He calls it people it. And that really makes people think. Is it because is he referring to how they say like, oh, you know, I'm not a he, I'm not a she, I'm a dog, or whatever crazy mental gymnastics around gender that's happening? Or is he talking about maybe like they're reptilians, like Alex Jones goes on, oh, they're reptilians and blah, 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 blah. I'm just, you know, I don't know what he says about that. Something, maybe he said something, but anyway, is he talking about they're not human, or is he talking about that they're crazy psychologically? It's just interesting. He says it thinks, or that it has like a mind of its own, as like its own creepy globalist entity of evil. It seems. I don't know. Just an interesting phrase there from General Michael Flynn. I appreciate him putting this stuff out there. I better repost this, huh? Let's see if Flynn said anything else this morning. Nope, that's the last thing Flynn said here. Just I'm sure with his first little bit of coffee or whatever he's sipping on. I'm sure Flynn's having his coffee at the same time we all are. And hello, ER. Thanks for the shout out over there on X. And hey, Christy. All right, onward. Russia to open polling stations in the U.S. for presidential vote. I saw this story. I haven't read it yet. We're going to read it together. The Insider paper published it. Is this bullshit? Let's find out. This morning it published. Russia will be opening polling stations for its March presidential election at 3 diplomatic missions in the U.S. Its envoy in Washington said Wednesday, as relations dip on an all-time low since the Cold War over Ukraine. The announcement came, as Moscow said, has not yet decided if voting will take place in what it calls unfriendly European countries. Huh. The March 17th vote is expected to extend President Vladimir Putin's long rule until at least 2030. He faces no real competition in the election, which will take place more than 2 years since Russia launched its Ukraine offensive. Quote, in the U.S., we plan to open 3 polling stations in our embassy in Washington, as well as our consulates in New York and in Houston, Russia's ambassador Anatoly Antonov said in an interview published by his embassy. While this makes sense. All right. Yeah, that's fine. That makes total sense. Okay. This is total clickbait. I'm like, what are they doing with polling stations? That's not going to be good for our election if they're talking about the U.S. election. That just sounds weird, but just clickbait, folks. Sorry about that, but I'm glad I looked. Flynn's been saying some stuff, Les Maryland says. I know. Definitely follow him on X, folks, if you like the instant breaking updates. I certainly do. But if you don't have time for that, you can follow my Substack, where I post all of what we talk about here and more at or by 9:45 a.m. Pacific time. Substack, I put all these notes and I put other more stuff I don't talk about, and so you can follow those, get the links, share them, as well as look further into it, etc., etc. So follow me on Substack. The link's in the description. I finally updated it properly this morning. At least I got that right. I don't think I updated the titles properly. If it's not there, go to my website. It's on my website in the description. Onward. I gotta have the coffee while it's warm. I caution everyone to take note that they are purposely trying to destroy our judicial system so the globalists can usher in an international system to replace it. Wendy Patterson took to Twitter to write this. Warning to everyone. She continues, I know many of you don't understand how they could do this under our Constitution. Many attorneys laugh at the attempts. Let me warn you again. They have no intention of allowing our Constitution to stand in their way of a communist global new world order. Your law license today may be invalid to practice law if they get away with it. Jack Smith and his international law stooges is your red flag. Replying to Julie Kelly, who talked about this, according to Fox News analysis, 1/3 of Iowa GOP voters want total upheaval of our system of government. 55% do not trust the U.S. legal system, stunning figure by law and order voters. CNN poll showed 66% think the 2020 election was illegitimate. And that's a CNN poll. I don't know. I mean, here's a theory I have. I think what they're shooting for, and this isn't that wild of a theory. You guys are probably like, Vince, duh. But I think they're really shooting for maximum social destabilization. And what that means is maximum rioting, maximum violence, maximum anger, because that gives them an excuse to help. And we could see this being stoked. We see it being stoked. And I think that's the plan. They want a reaction so that they have something to respond to, so they could provide a solution. And that's how they could get in. They're already largely in and still always trying to infiltrate further. Good morning, Princess Lee 8. Yeah, problem, reaction, solution, she writes. Absolutely. They're going to go all out, Left Maryland says. Absolutely they are. And thank you for voting on the poll on youtube.com. Do you like Vivek? Most people, 3 people voted, and they all said no, I don't like him. And that's okay. We'll see what happens. we'll see what happens, I guess. That's all we can do, right? We see this breaking news this morning. U.S. redesignates Yemen's Houthis as a terrorist entity. New Insider paper reported that the United States announced today that it will put Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels back on the list of terrorist entities due to their repeated attacks on international shipping in the Red Sea. The Houthis have already faced multiple rounds of airstrikes in response to their targeting of merchant vessels, but have continued to carry out attacks they say are in support of Palestinians in Gaza. They have also declared U.S. and British interests to be legitimate targets. Quote, the Department of State today is announcing the designation of Ansarallah, commonly referred to as the Houthis, as a specially designated global terrorist group effective 30 days from today, Secretary of State Antony Blinken said in a statement. The Houthis Oops. Great. Did I make a stupid face? I apologize for that brief interruption. I apologize, y'all. We're back. I like to mention these kinds of situations, not the Yemen situation as Houthis being designated as terrorists, but this next story here. Explosions. I mean, we've just seen houses exploding. We've seen manufacturing plants catching on fire, etc., etc. And in Thailand, we just had a firework factory explode. 18 people died in a firework explosion. Absolutely crazy. And suspicious too. I mean, is this really just fireworks? They said explosions at workshops producing firecrackers and other pyrotechnics are not uncommon in Thailand. 10 people died and more than 100 were injured after an explosion in a fireworks warehouse in Sungai Kolok town in southern Narathiwat province. Oh, this is last year? Why are they telling us this? They published this today. Oh, I think they're just saying it happens a lot. So last year it happened too. Justifying their claim that it's common. Okay. It's just an interesting thing. Things just exploding, especially the houses. That one's weird. And then they say, oh, it's a gas leak. Oh, it's just this. It's just that. But I don't know. I'm skeptical. People owning Teslas are having problems in this frigid cold because their cars won't charge in the freezing cold. Newsweek covered this. It says Tesla. Oh, by the way, have you guys seen Lake Michigan here? Just pretty wild footage coming out. Let's watch real quick, and then we'll talk about these Teslas. Lake Michigan appears to evaporate as temperatures drop. It's just had this like really cool like steam coming off of it. It looks crazy. It's pretty cool. Pretty wild. I don't think there's audio here. Look at that. Pretty wild. Anyway, this story is Tesla owners in the Chicago metropolitan area are reporting that they are struggling to charge their electric vehicles in recent cold temperatures as waves of Arctic air sweep through America. They can't charge their damn vehicles, folks. This is just ridiculous. Let's see. I want to see more pictures of Chicago. Look at this. This is just, oh, shoot. Oh, my God. Check this out. This is like from a movie. This is actually Chicago from a couple days ago. Really wild, the cold they're experiencing. Look at this. This looks like the day after tomorrow or like some post-apocalyptic movie. What? Isn't that nuts? That looks fake. That's real. Wild. Absolutely wild. Anyway, onward. Yeah, I don't like electric vehicles. Hey, thank you, Lisa, for the 4 ice cream donation. I appreciate you. Thank you. Gasoline over electric vehicle any day of the week. Thank you, Pug, the Pugnacious Prophet 7 something. Thank you. Onward. We got more time here. Let's see what else we could talk about. 120 nations are taking part in another event in the capital of Uganda. Let's watch RT.com's coverage of what's going on here. This is the 19th summit of the non-aligned is what they call it. Let's listen.
To Uganda now, the 19th Non-Aligned Movement Summit is in full swing. It's bringing developing nations together to increase cooperation. Here's RT correspondent Gabenga Abarora with details.
Gabenga.
Foreign political leaders and dignitaries have flocked to the capital of Uganda, Kampala, where a 5-day summit that is uniting nations that are not tied to any major power blocs just kicked off. 120 countries from the non-aligned movement are looking to deepen their cooperation with the aim to increase their collective global affluence. The group's 19th summit will provide Uganda with a unique opportunity to be at the center of global affairs, supporting and promoting the interest of developing countries. Uganda has taken over chairmanship of the movement and will hold the role for another 3 years. The group's last meeting took place 4 years ago in Azerbaijan. For Uganda, this summit is set to be the biggest event the country has hosted since the Commonwealth Heads of Government Summit in 2007. The presidents of Venezuela, Belarus, and Cuba are just a few of the world leaders expected to attend this summit. The summit will give Uganda a chance to showcase its diplomatic dexterity at the helm of over 100 developing countries in a world that is currently strained by geopolitical rivalry. And just as the non-aligned movement meeting ends, Uganda will go on to the G77's third South Summit on the 21st of January. This will be the first time that 2 developing nations groupings converge back to back in Africa. This will be the first time that 2 developing nations groupings convene back to back in Africa. I am Benga Aborowa, reporting for RT in Kampala, Uganda.
Interesting. 2 consecutive meetings between countries in Africa. I think Africa is going to play a major, they do. Africa plays a major role in the global scheme of things, providing a lot of energy resources to the West, including Europe, who are completely dependent on a lot of African countries. So when you're looking at the scope of this whole entire world war situation and conflict and disagreements and countries taking sides and positions and ethical stances, you start to see the impact because of that. So we'll watch it. We'll keep watching it. The non-aligned movement, an interesting name. Poland is to probe the previous government's spyware use. I wonder what's going to come of that. Insider Paper reported on this, saying that Poland's parliament on Wednesday decided to create a committee of inquiry into the alleged use of Israeli spyware Pegasus by the previous populist government, police, and secret services. Is this good? I think this might be good. Are they going to expose corruption in Poland? Pegasus spyware, huh? Israeli spyware Pegasus. Wow. Wow. We shall see what, if anything, comes out of that. Pretty darn interesting, I will say. Onward. Iran says it targeted Iranian terrorist group in Pakistan in developments with these bombings and whatnot. We've got member of Iran's Revolutionary Guard, the IRGC, shot dead in Sistan and Baluchistan province, according to IRNA. The Insider paper reported on that, and that was sort of breaking just over an hour ago. So we will be hearing more as this develops and it's confirmed and people, countries start saying more. My goodness. In case you thought Iran was going to war with Pakistan, Canadian Prepper pointed this out, which I never followed him, but I'm following him now, and he's on it. He points out that Iranian and Pakistani military forces have staged a day-long joint naval training exercise in the Strait of Hormuz and the northern tip of the Persian Gulf, as the two neighbors move to enhance cooperation and forge stronger relations. Wow. Very interesting. We had King Charles in the headlines today. I don't know why they're reporting this. It's always weird. I always think there's other things going on. Nothing ever is what it seems. But what's being reported for King Charles III is that he is to receive hospital treatment for his enlarged prostate, according to the Buckingham Palace. So I guess he's going in for some kind of surgery, perhaps, or treatment. King Charles III, we'll see any developments on that story. It's just weird that they blast that. I mean, if you were the king, wouldn't you be like, hey guys, please don't air out my personal prostate things to the world. Let's just handle it and then we'll talk about it later. It's like, or not at all. I don't get it. That's just me. Yeah. I thought this was interesting. This Alex Barnico on Twitter talks about a lot of geopolitical news and whatnot. And he pointed this out, that a cargo ship is choosing to pass through the Red Sea with the designation saying it's with the destination saying that it's going to Israel, which is just odd to say the least. I'm not saying that, just we should give up and let them have the Red Sea and all of that, or I'm not saying we should go either way. I think it's a horrible situation and that we shouldn't even be in the first place. But it seems that doesn't seem like a very smart thing to do or a logical thing. I don't know. I feel like that might upset people to say, but that's just a target. I don't know why this is happening, but it's an interesting thing that he pointed out there. I just wanted to mention it. What do you guys think? Should people just stay away and not have that going on? Or, this is a really tense situation that's likely just going to end up with more bombings and whatnot, unfortunately. Social. They have rejected people because of their DEI statements. In order to attend many schools, students are required to write a DEI statement, which has created an opportunity for race grifters to get paid to consult hopeful students. And here's what the scam looks like. A consultant to help people be more woke and get into these colleges and join this weird cult of DEI. And this is how they implement it into all these companies and things. They start with schools and whatnot. But here, listen to this. This is just creepy.
Well, my name is Anne Amuta. I am a research tenured associate professor of public health, and my research is very focused on health disparities. And I have consulted with a couple of institutions on what to look for when they review diversity, equity, and inclusion statements. So if you're going to have to write a DEI statement, might as well be a great one, okay? And that's why you're here, okay? If you want to go to grad school, in 95% of grad schools now require that you write this statement, okay? If you want to go to a good school like an Ivy League, you certainly are going to have to write this statement. Maybe you joined in a peaceful demonstration. That's a good one. That always hits this spot, right? Maybe you joined in a peaceful demonstration when there were a lot of killings of unarmed Black men, and we would go out and demonstrate peacefully, okay? Keyword is peaceful, all right? So maybe you join in the demonstrations. That's amazing. Those are practical ways you're promoting inclusion and equity, right? And diversity. Whew. Okay, so think about practical ways you're promoting DEI in your community, all right? Don't say I want to make Indian friends. No, no, no. Don't do that. Just say things like, I hope to get acquainted and even involved in the African Students Association to learn more about like Africa and learn more about some of the challenges, like African students face on campus. Oh.
All right, that's enough. Yeah, I think it's really crazy that she has to make a point of like, tell them that you go to peaceful demonstrations, but make sure you emphasize that they're peaceful because this thing's really bothering me. Make sure you emphasize they're peaceful because I know you're probably Antifa, and a lot of times it's not peaceful and it's very actually terroristy. It's kind of how I took that, but it's ridiculous. Yeah. Corruption, brainwashing, ridiculousness. My DEI statement. I am a white male who doesn't give a flying F about your race inclusivity horse manure. Take my money or shut up. All right, that's a good one. Oh my gosh. You don't beat around the bush. That's for sure. Here we go. Canada news. I need like a thing like Canada news. It's all frozen. A higher court in Canada. By the way, this is Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, and he's been fighting for himself. He says here that a higher court in Canada has ruled that the Ontario College of Psychologists indeed has the right to sentence me to re-education camp. There are no other legal avenues open to me now. It's capitulate to the petty bureaucrats and the addle-pated woke mob, or lose my professional license. Congratulations, CP Ontario, you won this round. Mark my words, however, the war has barely started. There is nothing you can take from me that I'm unwilling to lose. So watch out. Seriously, you've been warned. That is from Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. And he is having to go to a re-education camp because he didn't say the right things. Could you believe this? And this is not just Canada. This is going to be everywhere. You say the wrong things, you need to be re-educated. They're just starting here. This is a horrible situation. I wanted to cover this really quickly, and we might go a little bit over, but that's okay. I'll just have to just run out of here. But okay, hold on a second. I just wanted to mention Disease X, and I have before, but this has been going viral, and I've kind of tried. It's been going on for about a week, and I looked at it a week ago, and I'm going to look at it again, and I'm going to provide you guys with the study as well. People are talking about Disease X, and then they're also talking about this Chinese lab that has crafted a mutant COVID-19 strain, and they're saying it kills 100% of the mice. It kills them all. The study, they need to stop with they do. I think they do need to stop modifying these diseases and doing this research, which can be used for terrorism. But I looked at the study by BioRxiv, the preprint server for biology. The Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory published this these results, and it is this. So everyone's talking about this. They're like, oh my God, this is going to kill everybody. Be scared. Everybody panic, panic, panic. Look, I don't think they should be doing this research, but I don't think we need to be panicking and being crazy. I think we need to look at this honestly. They talk about COVID. They say it can cause 100% mortality in human ACE2 transgenic mice, which means these are ACE2 transgenic mice. Human ACE2 transgenic mice. Okay. So this is what they call a humanized mouse. A humanized mouse. That is creepy. I'm not sure exactly what that means from a scientific standpoint. I believe it means it's some kind of mutant mouse with some human characteristics that they're testing, is kind of what I'm assuming. If anybody knows a good resource to learn more about this, I'd appreciate it. But just with my own looking at over of this, it was a very small study here. I'll put the links on my Substack after the show here. But they literally tested what I think was 4 mice. And because all 4 of them died, they're like 100% lethal. It's 100% lethal. It's bad, folks. It's bad. Be very, very, very afraid. I think this is just fear-mongering. Yes, is there a potential for a crazy virus to be created and released on humanity by some evil people? Of course. Should we all be scared and look at this stuff and panic and start yelling at our loved ones and friends that the end is near and all this? No. Because that actually is going to lower your immune system. And if there is a little virus that comes by, you're not going to handle it as well. So I don't know. I think that it's just a bunch of propaganda for the most part. It was a tiny study and there needs to be more. Not that I want more studies on these viruses. I think that should stop, to be frank. I don't think we should be mutating viruses and all that under the guise of we're just preparing just in case this happens naturally. We're seeing what will happen if we do it synthetically and artificially in the lab. That's bullshit. I don't think it should be done. But I think with this tiny study, 4 mice dying and then saying this is 100% lethal, everybody panic, is just ridiculous. We have to be careful with science. X virus X's us out. Oh, I hope not. I don't think so. And I think the X, by the way, it's just a placeholder for their next virus that comes out that they want to highlight. It could be anything. It really can. But just wanted to put my thoughts on that out there because it's just really going around. 100% kill rate. Oh my God. One study, everybody, one study. Click my article, click my ads. Give me your money. All right. We're going to probably end it, but I will say there is more on my notes here, including just a note that I'm going to look into. Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow morning, but if you want to jump ahead of me on that, it's at the very bottom of what I'm going to publish on Substack here in 5 minutes. Please follow my Substack and share it. I appreciate that, and I hope it's actually a benefit to you. If you missed the show, if you just want to get the written news and the headlines that I'm highlighting and the ones that I'm not highlighting because of time constraints, follow me on Substack and you can access those by 9:45 a.m. Pacific time every morning. Also, if you just like to share something that I talked about or share your opinion and link it, etc., etc., it's all there for you. So you don't have to reach out to me or search the internet for it. You can just go there. Anyway, please follow. I do appreciate it. Thank you, Quiet Toad, and thank you, everybody else. Good to see you all this morning. I really appreciate you all and your support and for hitting the thumbs ups and donating and all that. I really do appreciate it. And thank you also for tagging me on Twitter and various stories. That is always helpful, and I appreciate that. A lot of you share great stories with me, and it helps produce the shows, and it helps me see different things from different perspectives and to get my algorithm out of this silo that I've invented where it's, I mean, we all have these internet, we're all in our own internet world, right? And it's designed around the things we click. So it's good to share. But I'm going to end with this little video here that I found to be quite nice, just so we can end on a positive note and go conquer the rest of our days. Kind of the inspiration behind Rise and Grind. And everybody likes breakfast in bed. So we'll end here, everybody. Take care. God bless and Godspeed.